Well, guys, quick disclaimer. Since Disney loves money more than quirky girls love Bernie Sanders, Disney did copyright the original video because I had music in the background. But I took out the music and we should be okay now, so enjoy. Everybody loves Star Wars. I mean, it's a franchise made for everybody. It's such just a global phenomenon at this point. I mean, there's the movies, there's the merchandise, the action figures, there's the video games, there's the Star Wars Pop Tarts. Come on, I can't forget about Star Wars Pop Tarts. Star Wars is something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that has been a part of my life for a very long time. I can still very clearly remember playing Lego Star Wars for the PS2. But as much as there is good Star Wars, there is just as much, and I would say probably more, just garbage Star Wars, just terrible Star Wars that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemies. Now, obviously, the most known example of garbage Star Wars is the prequel trilogy, and this video was supposed to be about just that, but I just kind of want to at least touch on everything else. So I will talk about the prequels, but before I'm going to talk about everything else. So to start with everything else, we can just start where it all began with Star Wars. It's called A New Hope now, but I'd prefer to just call it Star Wars. I think New Hope is kind of a garbage title. Now, when I talk about these other movies that aren't the prequels, I'm just going to go by them really quickly because I don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long. So, A New Hope, or Star Wars, it's pretty perfect, honestly. There's like no problems, considering it's supposed to convince you of this huge galaxy with all these different planets and characters and aliens. It's pretty perfect. There's like no time in the movie where you're ever confused about what's going on. The flow of information is perfect. It's also worth mentioning that the effects in this movie are probably timeless. I don't think these effects will ever be outdated since they use a lot of practical models and effects. I don't think they'll ever be outdone. So yeah, I give Star Wars a 10 out of 10. Then after Star Wars, they had to make a movie that lived up to Star Wars. And with Empire Strikes Back, surprisingly, they actually did it. So this movie is a lot different than the original. It's a lot darker because the original Star Wars was very fun and lighthearted, and obviously Empire has moments like that, but it's a lot bleaker in the end. Like our heroes lose. It's about Luke learning that he needs to be more patient, and sometimes he has to let go to the people he loves. Empire Strikes Back is what I consider to be the greatest Star Wars movie, and not to mention it also has the most iconic twist in movie history. So just like the last one, I give The Empire Strikes Back a 10 out of 10. So after Empire Strikes Back, there's Return of the Jedi, and unfortunately Jedi is definitely the weakest of the original, but it's not bad. I mean, obviously it's not bad, it's still a classic, but there's just a lot of dumb things. Like everything on Endor is pretty much pointless. Han is dumb. He should just died in Empire, honestly. But stuff with Luke and Vader in this movie are fantastic and saves the movie. So you can pretty much just skip the Endor stuff, watch the Luke and Vader stuff. The movie's pretty good. So yeah, Return of the Jedi is a 7 out of 10. Then, after the prequels, which we'll get to that later, Disney buys Star Wars, and they begin to make new Star Wars movies. The first of these new Star Wars movies is The Force Awakens, which I remember being the most excited for anything ever in my entire life. I was either 11 or 12 when the first trailers came out for this movie, and I could not be more excited. And then it came out, and at the time, everyone loved it. I remember loving it when I first saw it. I saw it on opening night. I saw all three of the new trilogy on opening night. And it wasn't the best movie ever. It wasn't Empire Strikes Back. It wasn't the original Star Wars. But it was pretty good. I mean, they played it pretty safe, but for what it was, I really enjoyed it, and I still really enjoy it. And now a lot of people hate these movies, which is okay. Obviously, not everyone's going to have the exact same opinion. But I think some of the things people kind of pick on in this movie are a bit dumb. Like a lot of people would say that Rey is just way too strong with no training. Everyone in Star Wars is. I don't remember Obi-Wan telling Luke how to use the Force to blow up the Death Star. I don't remember Luke getting training to use the Force to pull his lightsaber out of the snow. But yeah, every Star Wars character is just overly powerful, and that's fine. And then the people who hate these movies and hate the prequels, I am okay. But the people who hate these movies and then praise the prequels just have no brain. Yeah, I don't super love this movie, but I also don't hate it. I think it's pretty good. So I will give Star Wars The Force Awakens a 7 out of 10. Okay, now we're on The Last Jedi, which everyone just absolutely hates the idea that characters are not exactly the way they were 30 years ago. Oh, it's so dumb. I really don't understand a lot of the hate for this movie. Some of it is justified, but like some of it is just so stupid. Because some people complain about the light speed scene and why have they never done that before, or you can't do that. But there's literally a line about this in the original Star Wars.
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dust and crops, boy. Without precise calculations, we'd fly right through a star or bounce too close to a supernova and then it end your trip real quick, wouldn't it?
So yeah, I could sit here and complain about the people who complain about this movie for hours, but for the sake of this video not being like 3 hours long, I'm just gonna cut right to the rating of this movie. I don't hate it. I think it's like a 7 out of 10. It's not bad. Next up, we have The Rise of Skywalker, which is easily the worst one in this new trilogy. Oh, it's so bad. I hate it so much. I tried to convince myself that it was good because it has like some fun moments, but this new trilogy just doesn't flow together at all because this movie completely ignored The Last Jedi because, you know, The Last Jedi kind of revealed some important things about some important characters, and then Rise of Skywalker just said, nah, let's bring Palpatine back. Let's do a bunch of new stuff, and it's bad. I hate this movie. I don't want to talk about this movie. 5 out of 10. Now we are on the prequels. The first prequel is The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace is bad. Now, I'm actually going to have some help with this part of the video, so there will be some guest appearances. But, yeah. There's so much wrong with this movie. It's like everything they could have messed up is bad. I feel like most people know by now that the reason this movie is so bad is because George Lucas just had control of absolutely everything. Because even when the original Star Wars was coming out, the cast always teased him about how bad his script was.
It's a true story. Harrison Ford, who plays the space pirate in the film, at one point threatened to tie George up and make him say his own lines at gunpoint.
And the entire movie is just filled with terrible performances. As much as people hate on Jar Jar, at least he has energy and he feels like he kind of wants to be there. Everyone else just talks like this, and they say their lines like this, and it's very flat, and it makes the movie very boring. Pretty sure I could get a text-to-speech robot to voice all the characters in this movie, and they would give more lifelike performances than the actual actors in this movie.
Are you an angel? An angel? I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They are the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Now I'm going to have my girlfriend explain to you the plot of the movie.
Natalie Portman is like one of the 6 or 5 Queen Amidala's, but she's like Padme. It's Liam Neeson and then Ewan McGregor and Natalie Portman and the kid who like has schizophrenia and a Jewish guy. Liam Neeson takes on Ewan McGregor as an apprentice for they meet this kid who's like a slave, and it's really sad because his mom's a slave, and then they have to fight in this big race, and there's a Jewish guy who like owns the child, and his mom is sabotaging the race, and it sucks. I'm pretty sure there was a war at the end of the movie. I don't remember. This movie was so hard to follow. I'm sorry.
So for explanation, it seemed a bit weird and all over the place. Well, that's what the entire movie feels like, because you never know what's going on, because they never tell you. The opening crawl tells you like the last 10 years of galactic politics, and you have to try to follow along. They don't tell you anything. Her explanation was kind of correct, but also she didn't mention the main plot at all. The main plot revolves around the Trade Federation, like, blockading off a planet because they wanted to sign a treaty. The whole movie's about politics, and George Lucas is the first guy to tell you, oh, Star Wars is for kids. Then why did he make a 2-hour movie about politics? The only thing worse than the story in this movie are the characters in this movie. Now, if I talk about the characters, I would just lose my mind. So I had another friend come in and help me with this part, so Zach can explain to you the characters.
Let's start with one of the best characters in Star Wars, Qui-Gon Jinn. He has absolutely no personality, and he's basically just Liam Neeson in Schindler's List if he had a Fabio hairdo. Mace L. Jackson. He also does absolutely nothing. He's literally Samuel L. Jackson if he wasn't allowed to swear. Anakin, cute, but he's terrible. Loud, annoying,
Racist,
ugly,
stupid,
loud,
fat,
annoying, ugly,
racist,
loud,
annoying,
annoying,
stupid,
fat, ugly. Yeah, that's Jar Jar. R2-D2 and C-3PO. Oh no. Yeah, they're pointless. Natalie Portman sucks because she redoes her Thor: The Dark World performance. Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi actually are kind of cool, so I guess that's their personality trait.
Now, the one good thing about this movie is what you've been watching the whole time, which is the Darth Maul fight at the end. But unfortunately, the rest of the movie is just so garbage and boring. But I think this will end the Phantom Menace section of the video. I give Star Wars The Phantom Menace a 1.5 out of 10. Next up is Attack of the Clones. This is my least favorite Star Wars. I think it has absolutely nothing redeeming it at all. Like, Phantom Menace has garbage and then Darth Maul at the end. This movie has garbage, and that is it. This is the first movie with Hayden Christensen as Anakin, and I'm not even going to bother showing clips of how bad he is, because everyone knows that he's bad. And this movie is so bad that I'm not even going to make you guys watch it. I'm just going to use, like, footage of the Lego game or something instead of clips from the movie, because there is absolutely nothing good about this movie at all. So this movie opens up with probably the funniest scene in Star Wars just ever.
We made it. I guess I was wrong. There was no danger at all.
So let's recap what we just watched. So Mr. Guy here goes, "Oh, there's no danger at all." And then the entire ship just explodes. There is no context to this scene at all. This is the first scene in the entire movie. Then after that, we see our boys here, and Anakin is like, "Man, I really like Padme." And Obi-Wan's like, "Dude, you cannot be doing that. That is against the Jedi code." And then they're like assigned to Padme, and then this happens, which I would try to explain, but Cosmonaut Variety Hour, who's a very good YouTuber, just explained it so much better, and there's no way I could explain it better than he did.
So Palpatine needs Padme dead, but he doesn't want to do it himself, so he asks Count Dooku to go kill Padme. But Count Dooku doesn't want to do it himself, so Count Dooku asks Jango Fett to go kill Padme. But Jango Fett doesn't want to do it himself, so he asks his shapeshifter friend to go kill Padme. But the shapeshifter sends a robot to go kill Padme. And if you really want to be an asshole and get even more granular, the droid says, "I'll send these little bugs to go kill Padme." Palpatine sends a man who sends a man who sends a shapeshifter who sends a robot who sends bugs to go kill Padme.
Now that's from his video about Star Wars prequels, which is a lot better than this, but I just wanted to use that in my video. So yeah, then after that, it's just boring, dumb romance plot with bad performances, with the dumb sand line that everyone knows.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
While I'm trying to write this part of the video, I realize that I just have the same thing to say about The Phantom Menace. Like, the writing is bad, everyone's bad, the performances are bad, George Lucas is bad, Jar Jar is bad. Well, no, there is one part where Jar Jar, like, looks at the camera and, like, smiles, and I love that part. That part's probably the best part of the movie. But, like, it just has the same problems as The Phantom Menace, and it's kind of hard to say something else that I haven't already said. But the worst thing this movie does is it gives Yoda a lightsaber. Like, come on, guys. Do we just forget about this line from Empire?
Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter.
I'm really starting to run into things to say, so this video might be a lot shorter than I anticipated. But it's just, I mean, bad writing, bad performances, Yoda with a lightsaber. I mean, I really just do not know what to say anymore. I guess I'll just give it my number rating. So I give Attack of the Clones a 1 out of 10. How can a Star Wars movie be this bad? Oh my god. Next, and finally, on all the Star Wars movies is Revenge of the Sith. This one is somehow, there's like a large amount of people that call this their favorite Star Wars movie, and I do not understand that. I think this movie is still pretty bad. Like it's way better than the other two, but that doesn't make it anywhere close to good. So let's just jump into this one. You guys are never gonna guess what is bad about this movie. That's right, the acting's bad. Everyone loves Ewan McGregor in these movies. I don't get it. He's one of like the better performances, but he's still bad. Like everyone sucks in these movies. Why are they so bad? Why is George Lucas so bad at casting? And just like the last movie, the romance plot is bad. Everything is just bad. The only thing that makes this movie better is there's more action, and the action is generally okay. Like, I remember thinking that this movie was bad, but it had really good action. And I was kind of wrong about that, I'm not gonna lie. The Count Dooku fight in the beginning is okay. The Grievous fight kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie, that fight kind of sucks. The only scene that I consider great in this movie, when I was watching it, the whole time I was thinking, this sucks, but we will get to the Order 66 scene eventually. And when it comes, it's like, wow. They're capable of making watchable Star Wars. You know what makes the Order 66 scene so good? Nobody says anything the whole time. Palpatine says, execute Order 66. And then the clones kill everyone and the scene's over. And it's good. Because nobody opens their mouth. Lows in this movie are about as low as the other two. And the highs are about the same. But unlike the other two, there are just more decent scenes. Because there's more action and the action is okay. There's nothing as bad as the Count Dooku lightsaber battle at the end, which I didn't even mention in my Attack of the Clones part because I hate it so much. It is easy the worst lightsaber duel in Star Wars. So, it is about that time to wrap this thing up. Overall, original trilogy is great. The sequel trilogy is okay. Them individually are fine, but when you watch them three back to back, it just doesn't work. And then the prequels are absolute garbage, and I cannot comprehend how someone has a brain so dysfunctional that they enjoy all three of these movies. So I give Revenge of the Sith a 4 out of 10. Definitely better than the other two, but still pretty bad. That's going to be it for this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. I got copyright striked about a quadrillion times making it, and I spent a lot of time trying to re-edit it so it wasn't violating copyright, so I hope you liked it.